Hi, this is Mr. Case, and this is 34.2b. 34.2b. Last time we talked, we looked at the Philippines and how they became independent after World War II. We're going to look at a country called Burma. Now, Burma is not known as Burma today. It's going to change its name to Myanmar. But Burma gains independence in 1948. They gain independence in 1948. And they changed their name to Myanmar, M-Y-A-N-M-A-R, M-Y-A-N-M-A-R, Myanmar. They are located between India and Thailand. They're kind of stuck off to the side, and they're a tropical country. They have jungle. When I think of Burma, I think of the Jungle Book. That's the land it was created in. They struggle with a repressive military government. Struggle with repressive military government. They struggle with communists and ethnic strife. So struggle with a repressive military government, communists, and ethnic strife. Ethnic strife being different groups don't get along. Important folks. After the war, Aung San was a Burmese army leader who becomes leader. And eventually, he is going to be bumped off by the military government. He was a little bit too soft on communism. Eventually, his daughter Aung San Suu Kyi, well, she doesn't become president or anything, but she is pro-democracy activist, a pro-democracy activist. And she is a winner of the Nobel Peace Prize winner for her activities. But she's often under house arrest. The government doesn't like her speaking out for democracy. Again, they're very repressive. So you'll see her for years confined to her house. She can't go beyond her front yard. And you'll have newspaper people giving her interviews, granting her interviews over the fence. She's still alive, and she's still very active in the democracy front. At times they tell her, keep your mouth shut or you're going back to house arrest. Well, they never put her really in prison, but they try to muzzle her because of her pro-democracy stand. Okay, countries like Malaysia. You can put down the British can't unite ethnic groups. The British can't unite ethnic groups. And a federation is formed. A federation. That means separate entities that come together at the table, but they don't have to necessarily live and work together. Singapore, it's located on the tip of the Malay Peninsula, M-A-L-A-Y, Malay Peninsula. And they are separated from the Federation in 1965. Singapore separated from the Federation in 1965. Now, Singapore is important. It's the banking and trade center of the Pacific Rim. Banking and trade center of the Pacific Rim. And it has the strongest economy of the region. Strongest economy. And why would you figure that? Well, as you're going to see on a map, Singapore is located right on the water route between India and China, and you have to go right by Singapore. So right where Singapore is the world's busiest waterway for trade. Show you. Again, India's up here, China's over here. If you want to go by water, the quickest way is down through the Straits of Malacca, and then you hit Singapore, and then you come up through the South China Sea. So you have a very strategic place here for Singapore, and it becomes a banking and trade center. Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of piracy around here as ships get bumped off. Okay, now we have Indonesia, which is a country that has 13,000 plus islands, 300 ethnic groups, and 250 languages. 13,000 plus islands, 300 ethnic groups and 250 languages. That's a lot of people to unite, and you better have a lot of boats if you're going to get from one island to another. Indonesia is also the largest Muslim nation in the world. Indonesia was granted independence from the Dutch in 1949. Granted independence from the Dutch in 1949. And their first leader was a gentleman by the name of Sukarno. But he was ousted or thrown out in 1965 for economic failure and because he was a little too soft on communism. And people who were scared of communists were afraid that his nation would turn communist. Sukarno was bumped off in a military coup, and General Suharto leads. He's the general that leads the coup, C-O-U-P, or revolution, and it turns the nation into a police state. It turns the nation into a police state. It's very tense land to live in. But during Suharto's rule, he annexes East Timor, E-A-S-T, capital T-I-M-O-R. That's in 1976. During his rule, there's bribery and corruption that's common. Bribery and corruption are common. He eventually steps down. He steps down in 1998 with intense political pressure and world pressure. Now, he's going to do okay. He's worth, I think, $4 or $5 billion. He stole a lot of it from aid from the United States. And his nation is rich in oil. So, after Suharto steps down, Sukarno's daughter comes in and she rules. And then finally, the land that Indonesia had taken over, East Timor, they win independence in 2002. They win independence in 2002. That's a lot of land, and that's a lot of work. You see, look at this. Indonesia, 13,000 islands. Timor, right here on the tip. East Timor becomes independent. You've got Malaysia here with these lands. Singapore at the end, and then you've got 13,000 miles, or 13,000 islands in the Indonesian archipelago. Wow, that's a lot of land to rule over. And there's a lot of people that aren't united. Well, this is Mr. K's, and I'm out.